We know how the fire started.
We're pretty much stuck here.
It is extremely windy here.
Right now we are trying to contain the fire.
We're far outmatched by the velocity and the strength of this fire.
Good afternoon. We begin here at noon with breaking news of that fast-moving, deadly fire in Southern California. It started last night about 9 p.m. Now it is being driven by the winds. They were blowing all night long, at times with gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Those winds are still going this afternoon. 17's Karen Wah was down there live for us all morning. She could see those winds, and that is, again, what's driving this fire. Again, it all started around 9 p.m. in the Sylmar area. Here's the latest update from fire officials. It's burned 4,700 acres so far and is 0% contained. One man died overnight. He reportedly had a heart attack as he was trying to keep flames from destroying his home. One firefighter was also injured. We have team coverage of the Saddleridge Fire from 17's Karen Wah, Mickey Van Horn. They're live tracking how this is affecting not only traffic, but all of the residents down there in that area. And Claudia Rodriguez is going to join us in a moment with more on the wind watches, both down south and here at home. Let's go now to Karen, though. She has been down there all morning. They left around 4:30 this morning. First of all, took you guys several hours to even get to where you are right now. Right, Karen?
Well, it's very clear to see the winds are still ferocious out here. Take a look at this highway. It is eerily empty here. And now if you'll follow me this way, the flames are still very active. The mountains are smoking, and the Los Angeles Fire Department has confirmed that they've deployed at least 1,000 firefighters to battle these flames. Now, we drove all around Santa Clarita today, speaking with people who are traveling either north or south of the area where the Saddleridge Fire is burning, and many of them tell us that they're just stranded. They're stranded because they're stuck in gridlock traffic, or they're stranded because they're waiting for highways to open, or they don't have gas, and they're simply looking for a gas station that's open.
It's kind of like a apocalyptic kind of thing. Everyone's just like sitting around, like not knowing where to go. Everyone's very confused, so yeah.
And speaking of apocalyptic, eerie scenes, again, take a look at this 5-lane highway. This is Highway 14 here that has been shut down on the road to Palmdale. But Los Angeles Fire just came by and told us that they could potentially be opening 2 lanes, the carpool lane and the fast lane of Highway 14 very shortly. But that's certainly not the case right now for I-5. Southbound on I-5 is still being diverted at Calgrove. So if you're from Kern County and you had plans to go down south to Los Angeles or otherwise this weekend, it may be wise to reconsider. And if Highway 14 is an alternative option, well, we will certainly be standing by and waiting on the results for that. But for now, reporting live from Saddleridge, Karen Wah, 17 News.
So eerie to see her right in the middle of that empty freeway, and those winds are just insane. All right, so we're talking about the traffic right now. It's been an issue all morning long. Several major freeways are closed down there. So if you had plans to head down south, you may have already changed those, and that is advisable. The I-5 is closed at Calgrove, the 405, 210, and the 126 now closed as well. The 126 was a viable alternative route this morning, but that's no longer the case. So if you have to go down south, here are your alternate routes. You can head east, hop on the 395 and take that to the 15, or instead you can take Highway 166 to the 33 to the 101. But if you can avoid heading down south today, that would be your best bet. All right, let's check on those winds. They are blowing very strong down where we saw Karen and Mickey just a moment ago, and they were blowing a lot into Tehachapi when I was leaving my house this morning. And Claudia has a look at those weather watches that we're facing this afternoon. Claudia?
That's right, Maddie, and those windy conditions will continue throughout the next couple of moments and hours, that is, throughout. Take a look at this watches and warnings map. We have several areas in Southern California colored here, seeing fire danger for the next couple of hours, especially out in Santa Clarita. We can see red there. That's a high fire danger. And we can see also some Kern County mountains being affected over in Tehachapi and Frazier Park. It's going to continue to be windy throughout the next couple of moments. And as we can see here on these current conditions for the wind speeds, we see strong winds out to the south of us in Frazier Park area, up and over the Grapevine. Tehachapi also seeing windy conditions, and some of the Lake Isabella area also also breezy out there in some of our desert communities out near Lake California City, that is. Also seeing some strong winds. And throughout the next couple of moments, hours, those fire danger warnings will persist, and that'll die down luckily by around 8 o'clock tonight and then come into the weekend. So just keep an eye out for those alerts. Make sure you're registered just in case your power should be shut off, and just be prepared for any kind of emergency. And as we can see here in Tehachapi, this is how the fire danger is playing out. We see low humidity only coming in at 9%. We have those winds gusting at 22 miles per hour and dew point standing at a 0. So these three ingredients are key for a fire danger. So very dangerous out there. And for the next couple of hours, here's how it's going to play out. Going to be into the 60s out in the mountains, and then dropping down to the 40s by 8, and then by midnight, right around 41. And here in Bakersfield, 76 degrees, humidity also low, but winds are a little bit calmer out here. Humidity only at 8%. Again, when it's below 20, it could create some fire danger, but luckily for us, that hasn't been much of a problem since our winds here on the valley floor haven't kicked up so much. It's only been breezy in and out for the next couple of hours, that is. And we'll have much more on your full pinpoint weather forecast coming up in just a few moments.
All right, thanks so much, Claudia. Now, this is a Caltrans map showing the issues with traffic that we're seeing right now. And this is updating live right now. Caltrans just tweeted out a little bit ago that I-5 is closed in both directions in northern LA due to the Saddleridge Fire. There are a few detours in place, but most of it is just gridlock down there right now. So Karen and Mickey got stuck in that for a few hours this morning. They were able to get past just because they were in a media vehicle. But again, if you have plans to go down south, don't unless it's absolutely necessary. All right, we'll take a look at this video. This was tweeted out by LA County Fire this morning. It shows firefighters working furiously in the overnight hours, trying to make a fuel break to stop this Saddleridge Fire from spreading any further. You can see dozens of crews on scene there working in very windy, very dangerous and hot conditions. And this is not the only fire, however, that's burning down south today. There are about 5 fires, one of them in Riverside County. It swept through a mobile home park last night. This is the Sandalwood Fire. It started yesterday afternoon and is still burning today. One person was killed in this fire as well, and several other injured. 74 structures were destroyed. The fire is about 823 acres and 10% contained as of last check. All right, we have more breaking news this afternoon. The sheriff's bomb squad is by the courthouse due to a report of a suspicious item and business in the area, and businesses in the area have been evacuated as the investigation continues. This is in Shafter. This is a picture from the scene. The courthouse there, again, is being evacuated. It's a picture from the scene. A 2-block radius in the area of Sunset Acres and Central Valley Highway has been closed off, according to authorities. The bomb squad has been there since around 9:30 a.m. We do have a crew on scene working to get more information about what this suspicious item is, and we'll bring that to you. You can download our 17 News app for the latest on this breaking news sent directly to your phone. Day 3 of the public safety power shutoffs, and thousands remain without power here in Kern County. Now, remember, these were done to prevent fires from happening, and now we are seeing the results of the kind of weather that we've been facing that officials with the utilities were afraid could cause fires. We have very low humidity and these high winds, and now, unfortunately, we are seeing the results of that. So here are the numbers for the PSPS, the Public Safety Power Shutoffs. 5,200 customers are affected by the SoCal Edison PSPS here in Kern County. Nearly 13,000 other customers in SoCal Edison territory here in Kern County are under warning that they could experience a power shutoff. They have just been told to stand by. That could happen at a moment's notice. KCSO said this morning those people without power in Stallion Springs and Bear Valley Springs areas will likely not have power back on until tomorrow. If you are in the area and you need electricity for medical equipment, there are 2 shelters in the area, one at the Stallion Springs Community Services District, the other at the Whiting Center in Bear Valley Springs. And just over 4,000 PG&E customers are still in the dark here in Kern County. PG&E says 70 customers have had their power restored after it was shut off yesterday. PG&E customers without power can go to a community resource center at Buck Owens Crystal Palace. It's been set up with AC, water, and areas for residents to charge devices. And as we said, thousands of homes and businesses across the Golden Empire are without power this hour. 17's Aton Wallace is joining us live from Bear Valley, where that entire community is in the dark. Aton?
Well, Maddie, let me tell you, it is pretty windy up here. There are about 5,500 people who live up here in Bear Valley, 3,300 residences. All of them, as you mentioned, are without power. I want to show you something. SoCal Edison says perhaps that some of these power shutoffs are occurring because of outdated equipment like this power pole here. And as you can see on the ground, there's a staged power pole that it appears they want to re-implement to put up to replace this power pole. Now, I want to show you some video from earlier of the winds. They're really kicking up here. You can see here that these power lines are shaking in the winds. Those who live up here have been without power since yesterday morning, and power was off all last night and remains off at this hour. We caught up with one very frustrated Bear Valley man.
I really think that the way they're treating people, that the man who made this decision ought to be confronted on it. I just think that's the bottom line. It's a wrong decision. I understand PG&E, they were sued and near bankrupt, and they gave plenty of warning. Edison didn't give me any warning. None.
For those who need electricity, the Bear Valley Community Services District has set up this resource center at Whiting Center on 26940 Bear Valley Road. Electricity at this center is powered by 2 generators, and as you can see, people have been coming by to charge their oxygen breathing machines. The center also is offering snacks for anybody who may just feel a little bit hungry this morning. Now, as for the rest of the mountain communities up here, we are told that Stallion Springs still is in the dark, and as you can see, the wind is really picking up right now. Stallion Springs still in the dark. This, as we are told from the police chief up here, police chief in Bear Valley, that power could remain off up here in Bear Valley until at least tomorrow morning. More at 5. Reporting live in Bear Valley, Eitan Wallace, 17 News.
All right, thank you, Eitan. A teenager was killed in an overnight crash and has now been identified. The California Highway Patrol says it happened just after 1 this morning. A white Cadillac SUV was headed west on Buena Vista Boulevard when it veered left for an unknown reason and hit a power pole, then continued into a field where it rolled several times. CHP says 16-year-old Sarai Soto from Arvin was ejected and died at the scene. The teenage passenger was also taken to the local hospital with minor injuries. CHP says neither was wearing their seatbelt.
Please put on your seatbelts. Seatbelts save lives.
The investigation into what caused this crash is ongoing. It's unknown if speed was a factor. We're back with more here at noon after this. All right, we're back watching the weather and watching those winds. They are just so crazy down south, and we just saw up in the Tehachapi area in Bear Valley Springs where Eitan is. Claudia?
That's right, Maddie. We do have several wind warnings in effect here on the valley floor, but most of the windy conditions are through the south of us. Those Santa Ana winds are creating dangerous conditions down there. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but first we'll take a look at the current conditions here in town. Beautiful day, 76 degrees, and the rest of the valley floor also shaping up rather nicely into the 60s, mainly 66 out in Wasco as well as Delano. Taft seeing lower 70s. Frazier Park and Tehachapi into the 50s, and out in our desert communities into the 60s. Ridgecrest seeing 69 degrees. And here's a look out at Wasco right now. Beautiful day out there, not a cloud in the sky. Out in the mountains in the Golden Hills area, a few clouds in the distance. Currently beautiful out there as well, 57 degrees. And as we take a look at the radar satellite, not much going on. Again, it'll be clear skies throughout the weekend. Sunday we may see a few clouds roll in, but not much else other than that. The winds will begin to die down as of tonight. And if you're wondering what's going on, what's creating all this windy situation, well, here it is. We have a system of low pressure moving out to the east and a system of high pressure that's moving off to the west. And the battle between these two systems is creating a lot of traction and creating that offshore winds. And those windy situations will continue throughout the next couple of hours. But again, it'll begin to die down by tonight. That's the good news for now. And as we take a look at the current windy conditions here for our area, we see mainly the stronger winds coming into the Frazier Park area and Tehachapi. Also seeing a lot of red out there. Windy situation. Lake Isabella, not so bad. It's just as breezy out there, but California City also being hit hard with a couple of strong winds. And again, throughout the next couple of hours, it'll be windy, but it'll begin to die down by Friday and just into the weekend. But we do have currently in place a few warnings to tell you about. We have a wind advisory, and that will expire at 3 p.m. And we have a fire weather warning for 6 p.m. That'll be in place until 6 p.m. and that'll be for our mountain communities, Frazier Park, Tehachapi, and Lake Isabella as well. It's Friday, and if you're getting out of town, well, we don't advise you going down south, but if you're heading down north, it'll be in the 70s out near Redding, San Francisco, lower 70s, out near Fresno, 73, and if you have to, down south, it'll be into the 80s. Here at home, air quality moderate, 83 is the AQI. And for tonight, temperatures will drop down nicely into the 50s. And tomorrow, it'll be into the 80s, a little warmer, 83 degrees for Bakersfield, 84 out in Arvin. Wasco going to see 82 degrees. Delano, 1 degree shy of that at 81. Out in the mountains, it'll be breezy, windy tonight into the 40s, and tomorrow seeing a day into the 70s and 60s, although Pine Mountain Club in Fraser Park going to be into the mid 60s out there. The desert community is also windy for you out there. Look out for that. Winds will be blowing anywhere from 10 to 20 miles, and look out for gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Tonight it'll be into the 30s and 40s, and tomorrow a pleasant day into the lower to mid 70s. And here's a look at the extended forecast, starting off the weekend with a high of 83 today, and then Saturday staying into the lower 80s. On Sunday, those clouds roll in, and then out in the mountains it'll be a high of 60s for Friday. Again, it'll be windy throughout the next couple of hours, but that'll begin to die down by the night. Saturday and Sunday closer to 70 degrees, and then out in the Kern River Valley area, 75 for today. Windy situations out there, and then Saturday and Sunday closer to that 80 degree mark. So all in all, luckily throughout the next couple of hours, the winds will begin to die down just in time for the weekend.
That is such great news. They need relief down south, and we want to avoid any massive fires here as well. Thanks, Claudia.
Right.
Your 17 Business Watch is after the break.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
We're back in your 17 Business Watch, and stocks are rallying this Friday. Check this out. This is all amid growing optimism around U.S.-China trade talks. The Dow up about 480 points so far in trading. The Nasdaq up 158 points. The S&P 500 up 50. National news this afternoon. President Trump has lost a federal appeals court ruling regarding his tax returns. The court affirmed a lower court's rejection of the president's challenge to a subpoena from House Democrats who are seeking the returns. The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed 10 years of Mr. Trump's tax returns from both an accounting firm and the Trump Organization. Mr. Trump has tried to block the subpoena, challenging the authority of the committee to obtain his financial records. The Oversight Committee subpoena was prompted by the testimony of former Trump attorney Michael Cohen, who said Mr. Trump inflated and deflated the value of assets for his personal benefit. Marie Yovanovitch, the ousted U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, arrived on Capitol Hill today to testify in the impeachment inquiry of President Trump, despite a vow from the White House to block cooperation in the probe. Yovanovitch, now a key figure in the investigation, appeared for her expected closed-door deposition before the House Intelligence, Oversight, and Foreign Affairs committees. She'd previously been scheduled to be deposed by the committees last week, but the appearance was postponed. In a letter to House Democrats last week, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo pushed back against their request to interview 5 current and former State Department employees, including Yovanovitch. In Trump's July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, Trump referred to the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine as bad news. And we'll be back with more, including your pet of the week, after this. Welcome back. High school football's heating up. League play's underway and league titles on the line. Friday Football Extra returns again tonight on KGET TV 17. Tabitha Mills has a preview of one of the big matchups.
The Friday Night Lights return for week 2 of league play, and on the docket, the highly anticipated matchup between Garces and BHS. That's right, the Drillers head to Rams territory tonight, and there's a lot of buzz surrounding Garces head coach Paul Gola, because tonight marks the first time Gola will face BHS since leaving the program at the end of last season. But it doesn't matter who sits on the sidelines. This isn't a new rivalry by any means. For years, to much anticipation, BHS and Garces have battled it out on the gridiron. Tonight is no different. Maybe the only difference this year is there's no clear favorite heading into the matchup. Both teams are 0-1 in a very tough league, and both haven't quite hit their groove yet. Here's what Coach Gola and BHS head coach Michael Stewart had to say ahead of tonight's game.
We're playing the Garces Rams. You know, a lot of people sometimes are making it out to be more than what it is, but the Garces and Driller rivalry has been long-standing. So it just hasn't started this past 6 months. It's been something that's gone back. I graduated in '83, and it was going strong then. So it's just something that's part of it.
I think there's a lot of evenly matched teams this year, all the way across. So it's going to be a race, and I don't know if anybody's going to go through undefeated. So it's going to be exciting this year.
Again, BHS heads to Garces tonight. Kickoff is set for 7:30. Of course, this is just one matchup tonight, and if you can't make it out to this game or any of tonight's games, don't worry, we've got you covered. 17 Sports Director Nick James will have all of your high school football highlights tonight at 11:11 on FFX, and then again on Sunday. Garces and BHS play in what's arguably the toughest league in town, the Southwest Yosemite League. Who will end up on top? The league champs at the end? Well, that's still up in the air. But the teams who had a mark in the win column tonight, they'll certainly be in the running. Maddie and Alex, back to you.
All right, and I'm back with Chuck with our pet of the week from the SPCA. We need some puppies in our life this Friday. Chuck,
well, we got a couple here.
Oh, they're so sweet. This is a little girl, right?
That's
a little
Frankie.
boy over there. Hi,
and this
Frankie.
is Johnny.
Frankie and Johnny, and they have some more brothers and sisters.
There's 4 more back at the shelter. There's a total of 6 in the litter.
Oh, they're so
Available
sweet.
tomorrow morning at 9:30 when we open. And we're kind of guesstimating. Most of them are like Jack Russell Terrier Chihuahua mix. There's one little fluffy one that's probably something
cute.
else.
Oh my goodness.
But they're all the same litter and about 9.5 weeks old.
Oh my gosh.
And we've had them for almost 3 weeks in our nursery. So they need a good home because they've had a lot of handling, but it's all been puppy handling.
Oh
now they need a home to go to, their own little beds to curl up in.
She's just like plastering herself to me. It's so cute. Oh my goodness. So are they ready to go home now? Do they still have to be spayed and neutered?
They were already altered this week, so they didn't go home tomorrow when they're adopted.
Oh my gosh, look at how sweet. Oh my gosh, I can't even handle it. All right, if you are interested in adopting one of these sweet pups, you can call the SPCA at 323-8353. You can go down and see them in person at 3000 Gibson Street in Northwest Bakersfield. I don't know, this one may just go missing. You may have to come home in my purse. What do you think? All right, Chuck, thanks so much for bringing them in. We hope they all find great homes. We'll be back after this. All right, we're back recapping that breaking news down south. The top story today, the Saddleridge Fire. This is burning south of Santa Clarita. It broke out last night around 9 p.m. and it is being driven by some really gusty winds. 17's Karen Wong, Mickey Van Horn have been down there live for us all morning long, and we saw them live just about 20 minutes ago, and the winds were blowing so badly. They're not expected to really let up until late today into tomorrow. Right now, 4,700 acres and 0% contained. At least one person has died due to a heart attack, and one firefighter has been injured. We also know that Kern County fire crews are on their way down to help in this firefight, along with the multiple other agencies who are working hard on that fire down there. And don't forget, we are still under a warning here with low humidity and high winds, so be on watch here in Kern County as well. And we'll have the latest coming up on 17 News at 5.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.